हरिः ओम् वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste friends. Welcome to the session 58 of the new series Gift, Gita for Inner Freedom and Transformation, a study of selected verses from Bhagavad Gita based on Shankara Bhashya. In today's session, we will continue our study of chapter 11 with verses 11.11 to 11.15. To explain these verses, we have with us Dr. Asha Nayak, Srimati Padma Chandrasekhar, Dr. Amitabh Saharoy, and Dr. Satyanarayana Leli. Dr. Anupama Madam will moderate the session and bring out the finer points. Let us now listen to the introduction of today's topic by Dr. Anupama. Over to you, Dr. Anupama, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sadashiva-samarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam. Om. Today we will be doing Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, verses 11 to 15. Before we go into each verse in detail, I will just try to explain my understanding of the concept of Vishwaroopa Ishvara. What is the significance of Vishwaroopa Ishvara Darshanam? Just remember, if Ishvara is the ocean, creation is a bubble in it. As we have seen in Chandogya Upanishad, Sad eva saumya idam agra asit, ekam eva advitiyam. This means Vishwaroopa is Brahman as existence. Just as a formless lump of clay is transformed into various pots and plates, this experienced universe, this Vishwaroopa, is Brahman as existence. As described by Adi Shankaracharya in this beautiful verse from Viveka Chudamani, Sat Mritkaryam Sakalam Gatadi Sadatam Mrinmatramevahitam Tadvat Sat Janitam Sadatmakam Idam Sanmatramevakhilam Yasmat Na Asti Sataha Param Kimapi Tat Satyam Sa Atma Swayam Tasmat Tattvamasi Prashantam Amalam Brahma Advayam Yat Param. This means all modifications of clay, be it a pot, jar, plate, whatever, although they appear real and tangible, they are just nama rupas of clay. Similarly, this entire universe arising from Brahman is Brahman, the self-existent reality, and nothing else. And what is that only self-existent reality? Our very self, Tattvamasi. So I am that serene, pure, supreme Advaitam Brahman. Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam. This entire world, this Vishwam, is functionally projected only in the screen of our minds. Nothing is experienced directly. Every experience is an illusion caused by Maya, very similar to the dream world which seems to be outside. But yet sakshat kurute prabodha samaye, once I awake, I realize Swatmanam eva advayam. There is no other. Ishvara is the karanam, world is the karyam. Adhishtanam lends satyatvam to adhyasa. The I has superimposed the universe upon me. But Why is it that I see the world clearly outside of me? Pashyan Atmani Mayaya Bahiriva Udbhutam Yata Nidraya. Everything projected outside is consciousness. Brahma eva idam jagatcha sakalam chinmatra vistaritam, be it in the Jagrat or Swapna Avastha. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 42, Krishna had said, Vishtabhya, meaning supporting, aham idam kritsnam eka amshena sthito jagat. I remain supporting this entire universe. So, instead of seeing Bhagwan as the content of everything, the immanent Ishvara, let us start seeing Bhagwan as Eka Adhishtanam of everything. That means, instead of seeing Bhagwan as present in every object, let's say Bhagwan, all objects are in Bhagwan. What does this mean? This means Bhagwan lends existence to the world. Idam kritsnam jagat. How? As the content and container of everything. Like one waker supporting the entire dream world. Therefore, another name for Vishwaroopa Ishvara is Jagat Atma Rupam. So let's understand the concept of this support. A desk supporting a book conveys duality. Instead, consider support in the form of water supporting an ocean or gold supporting ornaments. When clearly understood, we would realize that there is no world but Bhagwan with different Nama Rupa. Bottom line being, Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatya jagat. Where is that Isha? Yaha sa eshaha animaitad atmyam idam sarvam tat satyam sa atma tattvamasi shvetaketo. That which is the subtlest of all is the self of all of this. This is the truth, and it is the self. Thou art that, O Shvetaketu. Thus knowing Aham Brahmasmi, what is the significance now of Vishwarupa Ishvara Darshanam? Just the same, if Ishvara is the ocean, creation is a bubble in it. As we have seen in Atma Bodha verse 8, Upadhane Akhila Adare Jaganti Parameshware Sarga Sthiti Layan Yanti Bhut Budhan Iva Varini. Upadhane Akhila Adare Parameshware. I am the Upadhana Karanam, the Akhila Adharam. I am the Shuddha Chaitanya Swarupe Parameshwara. All the 14 lokas, the Kari Prapancha, gain Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, only because of me, the Karana Chaitanyam. So, what is the significance of creation and destruction of lokas and beings? As insignificant as the appearance and disappearance of bubbles in the ocean. Bhut Budhan Iva, Varini Iva. Every galaxy is a bubble in the ocean called Ishvara. So now let's trace our understanding of Vishwarupa Ishvara. Initially, we understood it as a boon given to Arjuna by Krishna, something like a child viewing the world through a simulator. We then understood it as a shift in attitude, Eka to Aneka Rupa Ishvara, meaning perception of divinity in everything. Arjuna says, Mat anugrahya paramam guhyam adhyatma samnitam. This knowledge, he says, is paramam, meaning this is Raja Vidya. But he says it is guhyam, it is Raja Guhyam, a very secret teaching. Why is it a secret teaching? Because this spiritual teaching can be decoded only by a sadhana chatushtaya sampatti adhikari. We now understand that Divya Chakshu actually symbolizes the vision, the attitude of a sadhana chatushtaya sampatti adhikari. It is not a pair of magical chakshu, but Guru Shastra Upadesha to gain jnana yogyata. Initially, I believed that the world vision and God vision were mutually exclusive experiences. That is the triangular format. I then realized that world darshanam is God Darshanam. That means it is divinization of the world. This is an exalted vision. I have converted every Vishaya, meaning Jiva Srishti, into Padartha, Ishvara Srishti. How? By diluting my Ahankara, Mamakara. And in the final stage, I realize Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prabhadyante Vasudeva Sarvam Iti, means with this jnanam mam prabhadyante, the notional difference between Jivatma and Paramatma ceases to exist. To me, Vasudeva Krishna now is Vasuhu, the Satrupa Ishvara, and Deva, the Chitrupa Ishvara. The illuminator of existence we now know is consciousness. Sattva bhasika chitkva vetara sattayahi chit chityaya aham. Consciousness is existence, and that existence consciousness is I. Thank you. I now request Madam Asha Naik to initiate today's session, starting from verse 11. Over to you, Madam Asha, please.
Om Gurubhyo Nama. Jai Gurudev. Divyamalya Ambaradharam Divyagandha Anuplepam Sarva Ashcharya Ayam Devam Anantam Vishwato Mukham. Shloka meaning is, Lord Krishna revealed the brilliant timeless cosmic form with the faces in all directions, with many wonderful sights, wearing divine garland and garments with a divine perfume smeared with lepa and full of wonders. How does this meaning come is, Divya Mala Ambaradharam is a Divya. Divya is divine, Ala is garland, and Ambar is clothes, and Dharam is wearing. So Divya Mala Ambaram is wearing garland and garments. Divya Gandha Anulepam means smeared with lepa, which gives pleasant smell, gandha, because of smeared lepa, and that is a wet powder. With a sarva ashcharyam, with all wonders, Devam is shining, Ananta, which is infinite, and Vishwamukham is face in all the directions. Next slide. The verse is continuation of the previous 7, 9, and 10 verse. Here, description of Vishwaroopa given by Sanjaya as he sees Krishna giving to Arjuna, and the same to describe to a blind Dhritarashtra. We all are like Dhritarashtra, blind, and so we cannot see Vishwaroopam at all. In this verse, the adjectives which are described as Aishwaryam, which is given in the second line of a 9th verse. Next slide is Divyam. Divyam and Adivyam is not a physical form. It is only attitudinal difference. Adjective Divyam does not mean something new, but what already exists, which is there before. Like example, Laddu brought from the shop and same offered to Ishwaram becomes prasad. That is another value. And why? Because of our attitude. Now here the phenomena is Bhagwan has removed obstacle. Obstacle of what? For what? The appreciation of divine universe. How? He has given bhavana to it. An obstacle is you look at the mass, which is as a secular, instead of secular, becomes sacred. Only attitudinal change, no physical event at all. So what do we learn from this? Vishwarupa Darshan is a physical event, not a physical event of a attitudinal change, consequent perspective change. Nothing has happened outside. Now we know the description, how Arjuna looks at the universe, is with a total different perspective. And therefore, what is seen as mere bundle revolving in now, seen as a live, vibrant body of a Lord, and that is Devam. And when this change takes place, Arjuna goes through several emotional transactions because of the perspective change, and that is level of Vismaya. That is Ashcharya, wonder of seeing things in totality. And this is because of Ahankara and Mamakara. Earlier, he is looking at this as a fragmented vision. Now the fragmented vision is temporarily kept away by the grace of God, and that is called Devam. This is the entire creation of planets, stars are seen as a several body organs and called Avyayam, now which is covered with a divine clothes, umber of many garments, and almost weird with a divine lepas which gives pleasant smell. Next slide. Anantam. Anantam means the asya anantam asti iti anantam. That which does not have any limitation. That itself shows that it is a vision and it is anant. It cannot arrive in front of Arjuna. Whatever arrives cannot be ananta. Therefore, we come to know it is the same infinite world which we see as a vishwaroopa Ishvara. Even now, we do not know the limit of cosmos and it is expanding. Next slide. Na vidyate antanana bahuprihi iti ananta. That is, the meaning is the world is Vishwamukham and Vishwamukham. That is having a face in all directions. Now Shankaracharya given a brilliant note. Sarva bhutatva bhutatvam, because Vishwarupa is inherent truth behind all human beings, and therefore all beings are Vishwarupa Ishwaram only. Hari Om.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Vishwa eva rupam akaraha Vishwarupa, meaning the Lord whose very form is universe itself. We see in this chapter Vishwarupa Darshan Yoga. Even as children, we have been fondly told of Lord Krishna's mesmerizing tales, all his naughty, adorable antics, whether it is stealing butter or slaying the asuras. We have known his divinity. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 9, Lord Krishna himself has said, Janma karma cha me divyam. My birth and actions are divine. Regarding Krishna's Vishwarupa itself, there is a story when he was a child from Srimad Bhagavata Purana. His friends complain to his mother that he has eaten mud, dirt, which he denies. When baby Krishna opens his mouth wide by the order of his mother Yashoda, she sees within his little mouth Brahmandam, the entire cosmos, the universe in its entirety, with all the aspects of cosmic manifestation. Now, in this chapter, Sanjaya, a messenger for Kauravas and Pandavas, trusted by both the groups due to his noble and truthful character, was given Divya Drishti by sage Vedavyasa to narrate the events of war to the blind king, Dhritarashtra. In the earlier verses, we know that he has the unique privilege of having witnessed the Vishwarupa Ishvara Darshan of Lord Krishna. To describe Vishwarupa Ishvara, and if one wants comparison of Vishwarupa Ishvara, what would be the comparison for Bhagwan's brilliance? Sanjaya addresses this in this verse. Divi Suryasya Sahasrasya Bhavet Yugapat Uttita Yadi Baha Satrushi Sasya Bhasastasya Mahatmanaha. Translation. If the brilliance of 1,000 suns were to rise up simultaneously in the sky, that will be comparable to the brilliance of the great Lord. Sanjaya, having this Vishwarupa Ishvara Darshanam, was spellbound, amazed, astounded. He realized it was incomparable, beyond comparison to anything. For want of adequately describing this spectacle, he realized no simile, no metaphor was adequate to express this divine form. And therefore, he had to imagine the sun in the solar system all by itself, far away from the earth. And still, its brilliance is so glaring to naked eye, it almost blinds us. So Sanjaya gives imaginary example to the king. He says, Divi Surasya Sahasrasya Baha. In the sky, thousands of suns, Baha means the brilliance, has risen, emerged. Bhavet Yugapat, simultaneously, all at once, not one by one. This verse was quoted by an American atomic physicist when he witnessed the mighty explosion of the bomb. To continue the verse, Yadi Paha Sadrushi, if that splendor will be comparable to Sasyat Bhasas, to the brilliance of Mahan Anantaha Shariram Yasya Mahatmaha, the Lord's infinite body. In this verse, we see Vishwaroopa Ishvara being compared to thousands of sun rising simultaneously. In many mantras during our daily prayer, we have often compared the brilliance of God to the sun, like in Ganesha mantra, Vakratunda Mahakaya, Suryakoti Samaprabha. Suryakoti Samaprabha, comparing the radiance of Lord Ganesha to the brilliance of crores of suns. The essence of this verse is the brilliance of the divine form is indescribable. Thank you. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Tatraikashtam Jagat Krishnam Pravibhaktam Anekada Apasya Deva Devasya Sarire Pandava Tada. Next slide, sir. Yeah. In this verse, Lord Krishna illustrates the principle of many in one. This is not to be taken in the physical sense, but in an intellectual and a symbolic sense. The entire universe rests upon the infinite body of the Lord. Next slide, sir. Yeah. The universe is divided into galaxies. Galaxies are divided into planetary systems. Planetary systems are divided into many worlds, and each world is divided into continents, and so on and so forth. While the universe is divided into manifold forms, it all comes together in the body of the Lord. However, it is to be noted that this is only a symbolic representation, but not a physical manifestation. The same world which Arjuna saw with his human eyes have many problems, and now with Divya Chakshu, or divine eyes, that Lord Krishna bestows upon him, he looks at it from a very, very different perspective. Blessed with Divya Chakshu, Arjuna sees Vishwaroopa and comes to appreciate the spiritual lesson of many in one. Next slide, sir. Yeah. Moving to the next verse, 14. Tatassa vismaya vistaha vishtaroma dhananjayaha pranamaya sirsha devam kritanjali abhashasa. Next slide, sir. Yeah. Arjuna is going to describe the vision of Vishwaroopa that he witnessed with Divya Chakshu, which the Lord blessed him with. But before that, he is struck with wonder. And in this verse, it talks about the awestruck feeling that Arjuna experiences. This is a feeling that sometimes we also experience when we are overwhelmed with something that we see, a marvelous experience, for instance. We want to express our wonder, but before that, there is a pause or a moment where we are awestruck and unable to say anything because our physical and emotional reaction reveals a lot and we are not able to express it with words. Let us see how the experience of Arjuna is. Physically, Arjuna is overwhelmed with wonder upon witnessing Krishna's universal form. His hair stands on end, and his hands bow in reverence with folded hands, and he experiences devotion and humility towards the Lord. Emotionally, he is in a state of turmoil. He is unable to speak up. He is deeply moved. Mentally, he expresses his profound humility and respect towards Lord Krishna. Earlier, he considered Krishna to be his friend and charioteer all along. Now, he surrenders before Lord Krishna by acknowledging Krishna's divinity, and it is a humbling experience for him to realize that he is just a speck in the larger cosmic order. Hari Om, sir. Om Shri Guru Namaha.
गुरुभ्यो नमः। अर्जुन उवाच पश्यामि देवांस्तव देवदेहे सर्वांस तथा भूतविशेषसङ्घान् ब्रह्माणं यशं कमलासस्थानं ऋषींश सर्वान् उर्गांश्च दिव्यान्. Coming on to verse meaning, Arjuna said, O Sri Krishna, I behold within your body all the gods and hosts of different beings. I see Brahma seated on the lotus flower. I see Shiva, all the sages, and the celestial serpents. Next slide. So now Arjuna takes over and he is describing Vishwarupa as seen by him. In olden days, whenever they wanted to highlight something, the method used was to change the meter of the sloka. Like while writing, we change to italics or bold fonts. So will be the reading in 1 meter, and when the meter itself is changed, there is a jerk. This is the method of capturing attention. Next slide. Arjuna asked for Vishwarupa Darshanam, and we saw that Vishwarupa Darshanam involves two things. One is the regular eye, which looks at the world, which is the Vishwam. To see the world as the manifestation of the Lord, we require a special attitude, that is, cognitive factor and purity of mind. Therefore, a pure mind plus an enlightened intellect, both put together, is called Divya Chakshu. Jivya Shrishti alone expresses in the form of Raga Dvesha, Kama Krodha, and Ahankara Mamakara. And therefore, world can never give you wonderment. Since Krishna has removed the obstacle from Arjuna's mind, Arjuna is no more in Jiva Shrishti. He is in Ishvara's world, which is wonderful. Anything in huge magnitude creates wonderment, whether it is ocean or sky or mountain or even waterfalls. Next slide. So when Arjuna experiences the Vishwarupa, he goes through several emotional stages. His responses are different, and we find 3 stages in Arjuna's response to Vishwarupa. First is the Ascharyam or Vismaya, where wonderment is the emotion involved. Next comes Bhayam or the fear factor, and then later Bhakti or devotion and surrender to Vishwarupa. Next slide. Therefore, Arjuna says, Hey Deva, O Lord, Tava Dehe, in your body, Aham Devan Paschami, I am seeing all the lords. Sarvan Devan Tatabhuta Vishesha Sangham, the multitudes of different living beings. Not only I see them all, Isham Brahmanam, I also see God Brahma, the creator, who is Kamalasa Sthanam, who is seated on the lotus. So that is all symbolic. Lord Vishnu represents Samashti Karana Shariram, and lotus represents Samashti Shukshma Shariram, and Brahmaji represents Samashti Sukshma Sharira Pratibimba Chaitanyam. So when Vedantic technical aspects are symbolically represented here, Isham Brahmana means Lord Brahma, Sarvam Rishincha, as well as all the rishis, Divyan means celestial, and Uragancha, serpents like Vasuki, Ananta, etc., indicating I see all the 14 lokas in your body. What is more important is Vishwarupa Darshanam is not seeing extraordinary things, but seeing the ordinary world itself as Vishwarupam, body of the Lord. Vishwarupa Darshanam, the manner of seeing is highlighted and not the object of Vishwarupam. Therefore, seeing extraordinary lokas in Vishwarupa is not important, but seeing the ordinary lokas as the very body of the Lord, that is to be emphasized here. Hari Om.
Thank you, Dr. Anupama ma'am, and all speakers of the day for a wonderful session. Thank you, friends, for your active participation. As all of you are aware, Param Vedanta has been offering Guru Dakshina to all our Gurus twice a year, once during Guru Purnima and again during Gita Jayanti. You have been a part of this offering all through, and we are indeed grateful to you. This year, Gita Jayanti was on the 11th of December, and the window is open for us to offer our gratitude to the lotus feet of our Gurus. I am sure you will join us in this Guru Seva as always. Needless to mention, the decision to donate is purely voluntary. The entire amount of your offering thus collected will reach our Gurus. The mode of payment and the account details are displayed on the screen. It will also be sent to you in all the groups. Those of you who decide to contribute may remit your Guru Dakshina to this account. Overseas listeners, please note that the amount needs to be transferred from an Indian account. Details of Guru Dakshina offered will be shared with you all. Thank you all for being with us in this divine journey. Let's tune in at 6:45 p.m. on Friday, the 27th December 2024 for session 3 of Atma Bodha to study verses 10 to 14. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Krishnam Vande Jagadguru.